Hey everyone, welcome to the new episode of You Hate to See It, where you hate to see it but love to hear it. I'm Adam.
I hate that so much.
That was
Still,
awful.
I'm gonna point that out every time. I'm
Yeah.
Jeff.
I'm not happy.
Okay.
Okay,
and-
happy.
That's Nick.
Oh, Nick.
And then
Hi.
No, he's
Happy
not
Nick.
happy. He's
Uh,
Oh, not happy. Okay.
yeah. This week we are welcomed by the hosts of Drunken Housewife. Hello, Sarah and Ian.
In case you
Yeah.
can't tell, I'm Sarah, and that's Ian.
Of the Drunken Housewife Reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Drunken
don't know. I
Housewife
think we could
Reviews.
drop off the review and just call it Drunken Housewife.
Hey, Drunken Housewife.
That's how
Drunken
Steve
Housewife.
introduced it to me, is just
Yeah.
Drunken Housewife. So
You know, I mean, we could really at this point drop the review. And just call
honestly,
us-
you are the most important part. So
I am.
Yeah.
I am the most important part, no matter where I am, whatever room I walk into.
100%.
Well, it's
Now
not
you're
high.
getting it.
It's not the high.
I mean, who
husband
doesn't
review,
like a
it's the
good
Drunken
29-year-old walking into a room? Though?
Oh
Like,
my
takes
God.
over the,
Yeah.
takes over the entire room.
Oh my god. This is now officially the brown nosing podcast.
Yes. Let me introduce you to Sarah's new best friends.
Yeah. So for
You
anyone
will,
who
you will have known them from Drunken Jurors at this point. So
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so for anyone who hasn't known, Jeff and I have appeared on their podcast. Then
No
they've
Nick.
appeared. Yeah,
No Nick.
well,
Fuck
Nick
Nick.
sucks.
I do.
And
Fucking
then
Nick.
they've appeared on Drunken Jurors already, and now we have this. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is recording within the same week of everything happening, and the
If
immediately
you can't tell, I'm
after
wearing
one of
this. You
those-
were wearing the same clothes. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
you know.
it's,
it'll just be 2 months later than the Drunken Juror.
Yeah.
yeah. This podcast is very far in advance recorded.
We
so-
all own one shirt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or
One
it's just
shirt.
a
I
lucky
can-
chance that all of us wore the same fucking
I
clothes.
know.
I can go
Yeah.
shirtless.
What?
We
are you
Absolutely
planned it.
not.
We planned it. Seriously, people.
Out
we
of all of
texted
us, I'm
each
sure
other.
you're the
Yeah.
one that they want to see shirtless out of all of us. So.
Yeah, Nick,
Mm-hmm.
it's gross. Anyway,
I mean,
Just
I
my
think-
shoulders.
I will admit
Which
to
are
you.
gross.
Yeah, I will admit to you. While getting ready, for the first one that we did, I walked into the kitchen in just my underwear and went, "Okay, Ian, I'm ready." And he's like,
that's fun because literally half the time I'm not wearing pants. So what's the
"Thank
point?
God," because half the time neither am I. I am now, but because I
If
have to
I-
go to the store after we're done. But
It
yeah,
really depends on if I think I have to stand up. When I was still living with my dad, I used
Didn't
to
in
record-
Taskmaster at one point you stand up in your boxers?
Yes.
You're like,
I stood up in my boxers literally when I used
which
to
is
live
live
with my
stream
dad.
video. So
Yeah. When I lived with my dad still, I would keep as I drank, if I emptied a bottle, I would just pee in it while recording because the bathroom was way far away. Now it's right next to me,
See,
so it's fine.
Yeah,
that
Over
isn't
there,
as-
man.
that is like, in my opinion, the only advantage men have really over women is
Yeah.
the ability to pee directly in. I mean, we could try, but
you can grow
just
these
need a
awesome
big enough
beards.
cup
Those are pretty cool.
that just
I think like maybe like one of those
Someone clearly
refillable-
doesn't know the suffering of a micro penis.
You can still get the bottle there.
Yeah.
You can still get the bottle there.
Is this a confession?
It's more like a Capri Sun, but you
No,
know,
I think it's proven on this podcast that we all suffer from
I am
micropenis.
I am the president of the small dick gang. So
yeah.
Just remember, my love, it is not the size of the pencil, it's the story you write with it.
Well,
Now, if you're
I've
just
never
writing
heard
short
that version
stories,
before.
yeah. If you're just writing short stories,
I'm
I
writing
can't
my
help
name
you.
up on the top right hand corner. That's about where we're getting.
But
Oh,
You
Jeff's
know.
Jeff's meat mallet hands make his dick look smaller. So
I forgot. Oh my god,
It's
we
the
haven't had that
sausage
one in a
fingers.
minute.
yeah.
No,
No,
I think he brought it up on the I think
Did
he's
he?
brought it up on like the past 3 movie reviews. He's brought up my meat
His-
mallet hands.
your
I have
meat
to.
mallet. I
to.
can't get over meat mallet.
Being a large man is a real fucking issue.
I
No,
will-
meat
You
mallet
laugh.
hands hits me somewhere
Yeah.
else.
you laugh. I worked this horror movie convention, and we had Kane Hodder, who played Jason in several
Yeah.
of
the-
the
yeah.
Friday the 13th. That man is huge.
Mhm.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie, he's huge. And this couple comes in with their 6-week-old baby, and they want to take a picture of him with the baby. And so they hand over this baby, and the baby like seriously went from looking like a normal size 6-week-old baby to in his hands looking like it was this big.
Yeah, like a preemie.
I
Like he
mean,
was holding a
yeah,
little
like he was
preemie in
holding
his hand.
it went from like this 9-pound good sized baby to like, I swear to God, in his hands it looked like it was this big.
Like a fucking
And-
peanut.
Yeah, and
Oh my
I'm
God.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And he has kids of his own. So he was, he was really good with holding the baby and all of that. But I'm just like, that baby looks like it is so, like, all you'd have to do is go and it's dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, if you shake it,
What a
you'll
power
die
move.
also.
Oh my
Like,
God. Jesus,
I
Jeff.
know.
Holy
know.
shit.
Did you know though, he legally cannot, because he used to do this choke thing with people at conventions where he would, act like he was choking them, but sometimes he'd get really excited and actually like apply pressure.
Do it a little bit.
And he applied pressure to this one guy, and then the guy sued him.
Oh.
He asked Kane to do the choke thing and then sued him because he applied too much pressure.
Weird.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now when
that's
people
dumb.
are like, can you do the choke? He's like, legally, I cannot anymore.
Because most of the time, I would think if you would want to be choked by Kane Hodder, you'd be really into it.
I don't
This
wanna be
is this is where I would come in with my pre-written contract stuffed
Um,
in my vagina and give it to
There you go.
him of like
Oh,
you can
Lord.
Lift up my dress and be like, hey,
yeah.
sign this.
Before
For
we
anyone
get
who
there,
doesn't know, listen to the drunken jurors. that
Listen,
we just
yeah.
did to
Yeah.
make that make sense. But
that I think like every time I talk to you guys from like now until the day I die, you're
every
gonna be like,
contract's
so,
going to be in a vagina now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
fine.
truthfully
That's a
with
standard vagina contract.
yeah, no, but truthfully, I mean,
The
with the
vagina
way
contract.
Oh Lord.
with the way things are going right now, yes, women always carry a contract in your vagina
There
that
you go.
states exactly what the man is going to claim responsibility for. Have your friend Beth, that's a notary, with you, and then
Yeah.
once it's all signed and notarized,
How big is this guy? I'm
Beth
trying to. That's
can
all I'm
leave.
worried about.
I really thought you were going to ask how big the vagina is. For
Yeah,
a
how big is this
second.
vagina?
That
He-
is an important question.
Kegel exercises are your friend.
I
Oh,
don't
he's
wanna
not
be here
even-
anymore.
He's actually Adam. He's shorter than us.
Oh, what a
But he's-
baby!
But he's big. I mean, he's
It's
like
like Arnold
He's
Schwarzenegger,
buff.
like buff but short.
he's buff, but yeah, but I mean, still, when you're standing, like I do these conventions. Derek Mears, who also played Jason,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he looks like
And-
what I would be if I still.
yeah, and Tyler Main, who played Mike Myers in the Rob
Remake,
Zombie
Rob
Halloween.
Zombie, yeah.
Now Derek's 6'4", and Tyler is 6'8". So I'm standing there talking to the two of them, and it's like,
Yeah,
so
she's a
anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel like an Oompa Loompa, and sometimes they'll like rest their elbow on my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, it's fine.
seriously, dudes?
Nick is also a small
Short.
person.
I'm
He's a little baby boy.
I'm 6'1". I am 6'1".
Little
I
baby
am
boy.
tall.
Okay, so Nick, you might be able to understand then. Tyler Main's 6'8".
You'd still be looking up. to him.
They asked me to take the man to
I-
the airport.
I have cousins that are 6'6" and 6'8".
Okay, so you
Yeah,
can
I know,
relate to
yeah.
like, they
So-
asked me, they asked me, can we have nobody else? Can you take Tyler to the airport so he can catch his plane? And I'm like, I'm in my husband's Honda Civic.
Like, so
Yeah.
Jeff and I are both 6'4", so we make fun of Nick all the time. And literally, there was a party that Nick didn't go to, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I look up at people, and I was like, "Wow, it's like," or I look up at Jeff, and I go, "Wow, it's like what Nick's point of view."
But yeah, no, I ended up having to take poor Tyler Main, all 6'8" of him, in the Honda Civic. the
She had to
airport.
take all of him, guys.
Oh, I had to take all of
Oh,
him.
Lord.
But yeah, sweetest dude. He's like, no, that's okay. I have crammed myself into smaller cars. And I mean,
That's
he's
not
like,
where I
his
thought that was
knees-
going.
Yeah, same. I've crammed myself into smaller places. Don't worry.
I was
But
not
yeah, I mean,
prepared
his
for that.
knees are like up to here, and I'm like apologizing the whole way. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's okay. It's okay.
Have you
it's
seen
okay.
the movie Police Academy?
Oh,
I love that
where
movie.
it's
With
at
That's a
the-
great
the
movie.
huge guy that sits in the back seat of the car,
Robert
and they rip
Smith.
out the front seat. Oh,
Seriously, I think if we, because I had my passenger side seat all the way back, and then he leaned the back of it back and kind of, sat back like that. It's
I'm
probably
in a-
not
How-
the safest.
I drive a convertible now, and like when my fiance drives it, she pulls the seat forward, and like you can fit like another person her size behind her. For me, I'm all the way back, and anyone that wants to sit in the car in the back seat needs to lay down. Like there's no option.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
How do you guys follow college basketball at all? I mean,
Not-
you're in Indiana. I would assume
I
that
know
you
this
probably
is
kind of do,
I'm
but
just
you
going
don't.
to confess to you. I think probably the way we're going to go with this question is going to make us lose our Hoosier card.
Yeah, well, I hate basketball.
No, that's
We-
understandable.
yeah.
Basketball's boring. So
because Lebanon, where we're from, recently acquired a semi-pro team, Go Leprechauns. I don't know where we came up with that name, but go Leprechauns.
Same place you found your pronunciation of Lebanon.
It's Lebanon. Anyway, but I mean, we've gone to see their games, and we'll go to high school games, but really it's like sitting down and purposely watching
Should
it
have
on
been called the
TV.
Klein Clan. Honestly.
Oh no, the Kleiners. Oh god.
They're all related somehow.
No, God, no. Fucking hell.
Anyway, we're from a small town, so we do all sorts of community things, and the Kiwanis do an annual pancake supper to raise funds.
The iguanas?
Yeah, I heard
Kiwanis.
Yeah, Jeff, you idiot.
Yeah, my
Do
bad.
their annual pancake supper. This year they had a bunch of the Leprechaun players, at the event.
Not the Kleiners.
Not the Kleiners,
Kleiners.
the Leprechauns. But one
Gotta
of
be
them,
careful with those.
yeah, but one of them, as he came through the door, he like walked up to the door and then goes to get through the door.
Yeah, they turn like
And
sideways.
it's like,
'cause-
and he's just like dip up, and I'm like, I can't even fathom that because I have to have a step stool to get to the top counter. My niece does my hair and she's shorter than I am, and I laugh every once in a while because she has to get up like on the counter because she does it at her house, has to get up on the kitchen counter to rinse my hair out in her kitchen sink because she can't reach, and I'm just like,
Because she's like what, 5'3"?
she's 5'2" or 3.
yeah,
3 because she's taller than mom.
Fun fact, I'm 6'4". Would you like to guess my mother's height?
5'2",
No.
6'1".
No.
Okay.
My sister is 6 feet tall.
Oh,
My mom is just barely 5 foot even.
wow.
Okay.
How tall is
Okay.
your dad though? Because this is
5'9", 5'10".
yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
see,
like
my-
a tall household.
Yeah, my dad and all of his sisters. My dad was the shortest at 6 foot even.
Yeah.
Now his sister Luetta was 6 foot even until she had to have knee replacement, and she lost.
Yeah, my sister's like 6 foot, maybe like 5'11" now because she had a
Mhm.
hip replaced already. So she's a
Yeah.
little bit shorter.
I have my dad was 6'1" and my mom was 5'11", so I'm like relatively tall people. And I have a second cousin though who's like 7'3".
Well, see, my
Wow.
Jesus fuck.
my grandfather was
Yeah.
6'6", and then my grandmother was 5'10". But interesting fact, kind of related to the whole Kleiner thing.
Oh, no, I'm
My
scared.
my grandfather and his brother married sisters. So
Oh.
my grandfather and grandmother.
So they stayed in the family somehow.
So it stayed in the family, which ended
but
up
not like a good way to stay in the
good
family,
way.
but not.
But
Yeah.
then
What
yeah,
hole are you buried, Jeff?
No, like I
like
mean,
my
like
family
your
tree is a
sisters.
stick. Yeah, my
you
family
marry,
is a straight
like-
line. Yeah, 2 sisters married 2 brothers, but then all of their children are double cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my father was a high school teacher for 36 years. His double cousin Steve was like his identical twin.
Oh.
And he was an educator as well, but worked up to administration and was vice principal at another school system in Indiana. And they had a student transfer from Steve's to my dad's. And that kid freaked out. Ian discovered that my niece and I, when we're bent over picking up something, look
God.
identical.
Oh no.
I don't.
I can only assume
I
how bad of a story
am
that goes.
afraid.
I'm
Yeah, because she was bent over picking something up, and
I-
Ian just saw out of the corner of his eye
I
what he
see
thought.
ass must smack.
And he reached out
Common
and-
thing as a man.
Yeah, reached out and she stood up and she's like, "Did you just smack my ass?" And he's like,
Well, I get that as a man. Like you see ass, you want to smack it. Unless you're looking at Nick and he's bent over, then you look at it and you're like, I would just smack drywall.
yeah.
That's
You look at
unnecessary.
Nick and you go, "Why is there another back there?"
Oh,
How's he bending at the middle of his back at
Poor
like a perfect
Nick.
90?
should I traumatize Nick right now by bringing
Yes.
up words that broke him in our last thing?
Oh,
Yes.
Like what was it?
Baby
Jizz,
gravy, I think, is
jizz
the
and
one that really
baby
gets him.
gravy. Yeah. What else do you? I mean,
sperm
Sperm is too clinical.
The big, the
yeah,
big
the icing on the
ooh-
cake.
Yeah, the
Nut.
icing on the cake.
Oh
is
yes,
rough.
the fondue fountain.
The
of
yeah,
semen.
The big ooey gooey.
the
I'm
big
a-
gooey gooey,
I'm-
yeah.
I'm
That's
a
what we'll
fan.
call the fondue fountain. The
I'm
big
a fan of-
ooey-gooey.
I'm a fan of coom and nut.
Shut up.
So, but
So
if we
you're-
called it like nut juice,
I
There
would
you go,
not call it
some
nut
nut
juice.
juice.
No.
nut cream,
Almond
No.
milk.
There you go, nut milk.
Oh,
The original nut milk.
nut milk.
Yeah.
We'll just call
The
it. We'll
first
just
nut
call
milk.
it the OG nut milk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
there we go.
I
there we
like
go.
that. I don't know
I
why.
don't like
I
it.
like
There we
that term, the OG nut milk.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
roll off the tongue, but it fits it perfectly.
I'm sorry, but yeah, baby gravy just rolls off. I
do
actually got
like
that
baby
phrase.
gravy.
I actually got that phrase from American what was it? American Horror Story?
Yeah.
The Coven.
Yeah.
Because Angela Bassett's character
What
said
is
something
that show
about
doing nowadays? I stopped
I don't
watching
know. I
after The
haven't
Coven,
stopped.
I think.
I stopped watching it after Roanoke.
I watched the first half of the first season, and it's one of my fiance's shows that she likes. She hasn't
Mhm.
seen it in a couple years, but she loves that show still. And she basically hasn't watched it because her and I have been like, we'll watch it together, and it just hasn't happened yet.
I like
yeah.
it. The first season's good. Second season's Asylum. I liked Asylum.
Yeah.
What was third?
I
Okay,
don't
wasn't
Coven.
good.
I think Coven was third.
No, I thought Coven
wasn't it?
was fourth.
I don't know.
What's
Somebody look
so
it up.
I'm really
doing it.
interested. I want to really get to the New Orleans season
That's
because
Coven.
That's three.
okay,
Yeah, it's Coven.
so I
That was
Yeah.
good.
love New Orleans. Like I want to move there forever. I
Mhm.
love that
Oh,
place.
it was
I love
Coven.
their food.
4 was Freak Show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stopped watching halfway through Freak Show.
So did I.
But
It was good.
love
I just
all of
lost
that.
interest though.
Yeah.
Kind of just like, eh.
But yeah, in Coven though, Angela Bassett, who by the way has made a deal with the devil, I guess, because she is just
Yeah, she still looks like
she's still
25,
I'd still
30.
Oh,
do
yeah.
her,
Yeah.
just letting that out there in the universe. But yeah, her
Wouldn't we
character,
all?
yeah, her character says something about Sarah Palin needing to bring her husband's baby gravy with her for this thing
Yeah.
that
All
she's
of
gonna
that
do.
I hate. Every
And-
single word of that sentence
Yeah.
was just
And-
awful.
I'm like, I have to remember that baby gravy. It works.
I've
It
heard baby
works.
gravy before, and I love it, but it's just not something that's hit like my everyday language yet.
Oh,
So-
because see, my other one I got from a friend of mine. It doesn't refer. This does not refer to sperm, Nick. But next
Pussy
time
juice?
Nick,
No,
where are all these
no.
fucking Discord
I,
messages?
that's
But
what I'm
next
trying to
time-
figure out.
yeah, but Nick, next time I say the word baby gravy or jizz, don't be a twat waffle about it, okay?
Ooh.
I
love twat. So my
Twat waffle just-
twat waffle.
in
Waffle.
college,
Love
I worked at a bank, and my branch manager always used twat waffle as a descripting word for everyone. I picked it up immediately. It's
Yeah.
such a
Oh, yeah.
good
It's
word.
just one of those. It's just like yes, that
It just
fits
works.
so many things. So many things.
There's just something
It's
about
just-
like the way it rolls off the tongue and calling someone a twat waffle. It's just
Exactly.
like-
Oh yeah.
There's
it
a-
always catches people off guard. It's like, you fucking twat waffle, and it's like,
That's
what?
There's another phrase that I usually only use during the winter while driving if somebody cuts me off. And I got this one from Christmas Horror Story, which is like, what is it, 4 stories that are all blended together.
Oh, it's definitely a horror
Yes,
must-see.
definitely. If you love Christmas and you love horror movies, this is your movie. But one of them is Santa dealing with elves that are infected with this like zombie cannibalistic virus.
Okay.
And one of the zombies, when Mrs. Claus is trying to help him, says, "Leave me alone, you reindeer fucking snow whore."
Ooh,
And
I
I'm like,
love it.
that's good.
That's
oh
beautiful.
yeah. So yeah, somebody cuts me off in traffic. I'm like, "You reindeer fucking snow whore."
Oh, that's a
You know,
good one.
It's just,
I've-
it just, ooh.
So so every year we do a Taskmaster live stream, and the actual show Taskmaster that I've completely ripped off and stolen everying from
Literally.
is a real show in it's a
They shouldn't have gave up their rights during COVID.
it's a British panel show where 5 comedians do stupid stuff. But so I watch that all the time, and I've started to pick up a lot of British like
Britishisms.
phrases,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and they're amazing because like you can literally say twat, like the C word, whore,
Sure,
like
yeah, yeah.
everything
Yeah.
on regular TV out there, like because like it's just part of your vernacular. It's like saying fuck in America, like that, like, but it's amazing. And so they've come up with really creative things because of it. And as I watch these shows, I love like picking up some of the weird things they say. It's great.
So, the video of this cat is like, what the fuck are you doing?
There we go.
Well, he managed to come in and like go like
He,
serpentine through all the wires and
yeah, he's
stuff.
like
and,
on all the wires.
you know, he's just
So
like,
you wouldn't be able to hear us, or your earbuds would have popped out.
yeah, he's just like,
Yeah.
fuck you. fuck you. This is my lap. No,
Stay.
I will snap my fingers at you.
Well, here we can lift up. There.
Jesus
coming?
Christ.
Are you coming? No, now he's gonna sit over there and pout.
And he's like, why am I gonna do it if I can't sit on all the wires? What the fuck?
Yeah, I got an ad for test your cat's DNA to see like his whole like, and I'm like, mine would come back. Your cat is 100% asshole.
Yeah.
And
Is that
because-
Probably
my
what it
cats?
is.
and who has that much money to spend a DNA kit on a cat?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
you
Yeah,
have
that's
no
dumb.
life. What the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah. I mean,
I'm lucky I did a DNA kit on myself.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
yeah. He's a flight attendant. He makes decent money, but just enough to keep us afloat.
Yeah.
It's like, and
So
then
anyway,
then I'm the
Talking about being a flight attendant. Segue. Look at us using one for once.
We do those?
but
No.
Don't you read those?
No, so how's that work? Because you were talking about like you do stand up going to places, and like you'll schedule your stand up over there. So like, how far in advance do you know where you're going and like when? Like,
oh well, what happens is there goes a cat.
yeah. Here comes the cat.
so I feel like the
Nice
schedule
try.
for comedy stuff, you need to do it
Anyway,
somewhat
Well, the
decently
thing,
in advance.
well, the thing is I am not being paid yet because of
Mm.
COVID. So
Okay.
basically, I pick cities to go to where they have a sign up sheet when you get there, so you don't have to email beforehand. And then, half the time, if something happens, I don't end up in that city. I don't have to say, "Oh, sorry, can't be there."
Okay.
Yeah.
You look like a dick.
But it is
So-
kind of confusing for other people when I say, oh well, if you want to do something in June, I have to know now because he does his schedule a month out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
right now I'm
So-
doing my schedule for June now, and then I find out what I'm actually given on the 20th for the next month.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
most of the time I bid for either day trip, 2-day trip, 3-day trip, 4-day trips. Most of the time I get what I want, but then they still have the final say.
Yeah.
So
And they have like occasionally been like, oh, I know
Yeah,
you didn't want to
screw this, yeah.
work any Saturdays, but we're going to schedule you this day trip on Saturday,
yeah,
and then it's his responsibility
to
To
work
try
it or not work
to
it.
work it or find somebody else to work it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie, sometimes it comes down to like putting it on the board and being like, I will give somebody $20 if they
to
take this
it.
trip.
Yeah.
So then you have to basically bribe somebody,
Mhm.
To work your shift.
to work your shift. And
Damn, it sounds like retail.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's picked up some trips where, yeah, it's extra money for us plus the $20 that the dude, is giving
What's on
us
a
to
board.
get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like,
Well, the thing is, if I start getting paid, I have free benefits to fly. They're like, hey, if you can come here, blah blah blah, and we'll give you whatever money, and I can, okay, sure, hop on a plane. There, I'm there.
yes, but those
So-
free benefits almost ended our marriage once.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was working a convention in Las Vegas. First time I'd ever been to Las Vegas. I was excited about it. Put him in charge of scheduling my flights. And the way it works for us is we have to fly standby, which
Yeah.
means if there's a seat available, you get it. And if not, you get bumped to the next flight and the next flight and the next flight.
Mhm.
He scheduled me Indy to Atlanta and then Atlanta to Vegas.
Mhm.
Because there wasn't a direct where I got free
To-
benefits.
yeah. So I land in Atlanta at 7 a.m. I know the Atlanta airport very well now. Very well. Because by, what was it, 4:30 in the afternoon, Atlanta time,
Yeah.
I was on the phone to him. I'm like, I swear to fucking God, if you don't get me on a flight right now, our marriage is over. I'm serious. If I spend any more time in this airport going, because I had to, it's not like you could sit at the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to flip every
I have
time.
to go from gate to gate to gate to gate to gate to gate to gate. And I'm like almost in tears at this point because it's like I
And
had
I'm used to
scheduled
it.
myself so that I would
Yeah.
get to Vegas the day before and be able to do shit in Vegas. I've never been,
Yeah.
and
It's all right.
I get to, this one gate and I go up to the gate agent to check in and I'm like, here's the deal. Because I had like this entire thing of the variety pack of M&Ms. I'm like, see this? It's all yours if you get me on this flight. All of it, every last bit of it. And I turn around and there's Tyler Maine, who played Mike Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween. He lives in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And I know him. I'm like, Tyler, dude, give me some mojo. Get me on this flight, something, please. And he's like, what's, and I told him the whole story. And he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, I'm this close to not going to the convention and killing my husband. So, and he's like, I am going to send like all the positive energy for you, like everything. And it's like 5 minutes before the plane was supposed to leave, the gate agent called me up and he's like, I've got one seat left and it's yours, but it's by the bathroom. And I'm like, I don't care. I do not care. I will sit by the bathroom and hold my breath the entire flight. I just
was gonna say that's like
plane.
What is that, like a 2-hour, 3-hour flight, maybe?
Something like that. And it was,
Do airplane bathrooms stink that much?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, I haven't been on a plane since I was like 10.
Yeah. So my seat was like, here's the wall for the bathroom and here's my seat. But then here's the seat in front of me. I mean, it's like I had like six inches of room. So I'm like crammed in there. I'm like, I don't care. I'm on this flight.
If grandma or grandpa goes in there for half an hour, you're fucked.
Oh yeah.
So
You're totally fucked.
I have 2 plane stories of just hell. My first one was I used to play hockey and a semi-competitive level where I would travel for stuff and you get traded to new teams and stuff like that. And so the team I was on was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I was being traded to a team in Boston. Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they just have a small airport for 6-seater planes that only go to Chicago. And that's it. And so I needed to my flight I'm a goalie, so huge hockey bag, big sticks, plus needing clothes because I was fully being traded.
Big stick, we got it.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of shit to get to Boston. So
Adam's gonna, brag about his big stick now.
Yeah,
he always does.
I had to go. I'm part of the Big Stick Club. Nick's part of the Small Dick Club.
Rub it in, why don't you?
So
Small Dick gang, bitch. Fuck off.
We have better benefits.
Yeah.
So I went and we didn't know how this was going to work. So we booked all the flights. Everything was fine. I had like the layover in Chicago, the layover in Washington, D.C. And that's how it was going to work. And so I got to Chicago and I had like 45 minutes between flights. But when I landed, they were like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to go collect your shit and go back through, like you have to go through baggage claim, go back through security and like go through the whole process. I had 45 minutes. And also because I had to live in Boston for 3 weeks, like my backpack was full. I had clothes slammed as much as I could in my hockey bag, and I'm wearing 2 to 3 layers because it's winter. Like this is between Thanksgiving and Christmas break that I had to deal with this, then live out there with whatever I could fit. And my dad was going to go up to the Upper Peninsula and pick up the rest of my crap for me. And then we were going to deal with getting my stuff to Boston coming back in January. So I was like, I had so much stuff on because like, I had to do it.
Yeah.
And it was hell getting through claims, going through baggage check, going back through security. When I went through security, they had just introduced the whole stand there, put your arms up and the thing spins around you machines. So I do it and they pulled me off to the side because they claimed I had too much liquid on my person because I was drenched in sweat. I had been soaking through and the machine clocked in. I had an illegal amount of liquid on my person and they wanted to know why I had so much liquid on me.
So what they do about your foxtail butt plug?
I don't know. Yeah. They let that go.
They let that go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
as long as it's not vibrating, I think
literally and also batteries, this was O'Hare Airport, which I'm assuming is shaped like a U.
Oh yeah.
And the 6-seater planes are on one side of the U, and the
of course
thing I needed to get to was on the opposite side of the U.
Opposite side down below. Yeah.
And having to go through everything and take the little tram with a duffel bag, a backpack, hockey sticks, and a hockey bag. And the
And butt
hockey
plug.
bag is the largest hockey bag you can possibly get because I'm a goalie. So I had a lot of equipment. All the way through the tram to the other side. It was hell. I hated every second of it. Stopped by security. I get through. I am literally sitting down. And as I sit down, they call to board. I just
Wow.
made it. Like, just made it
Yeah.
in 45 minutes. It was awful. And then, like, but like when I got to DC, they were connected. Like, I'd have to go through that shit again. But so
Yeah.
DC to Boston was easy. But yeah, that was awful. And then my other one, when I was in college, I went, we were doing a study abroad in England. Like right at the time that England's leaving the EU, and there's weird
Brexit.
rules and regulations on, especially when you're coming in with a student visa, of where are you legally in England.
Yeah.
And we flew an Irish airline to England, from Chicago to England. But because of our visas, we weren't legally in England then. We found this out 3 days before our flight. We then had to fly to another country and then back. So we get there, we had a 4-hour layover to then fly to Amsterdam, with then an 8-hour layover to fly back to the same airport we were already at, because our student visas wouldn't work. We were from America to England, because of the airline that we took, our student visas were illegal.
That's wild.
We had
Wow,
to
So they
go,
become valid when you land in a different
Yeah, how
country.
did they-
Like
Yeah.
what?
it's just something
Weird.
Like you had to come from
a certain
place
place, and coming from America to England on the Irish airline. It was something to do with Ireland and
England,
in
get over it.
England.
We won. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
it was something to do
Yeah.
with the Irish airline and the going to England part that made it illegal with our student visas that we had.
Yeah,
Wow.
England's been trying to fuck over Ireland for how long now?
That's really what it was. And
About 800 years.
so
Yeah.
we had to come in on like a European flight, not an Irish flight. And that's really all it was.
That's
So we
so
had a
stupid.
4-hour layover in the airport we were supposed to be in, and an 8-hour
get-
layover in an airport we were not supposed to be in, to be legally in England.
Wow, that's just
That's just
crazy.
insane.
It was awful. Like, and literally,
know.
like in that layover, like we just we met up with with the school that we were going to. We like left the airport.
See you
met
in
up
10
with
hours,
them,
my guy.
and they were,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
but like to make everything work right, we had to do this, and it was awful.
Yeah.
See you in 12 hours. I gotta
Longest
go
day
to
of my life.
Amsterdam real
Wow.
fast.
Longest day
Yeah.
because we did this in one day, because the time difference.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we left in the morning, we got there like morning, and then still had to do all of this
Wow.
stuff, and we arrived at like 10 p.m. at night their time, and left at like 6 a.m. our time, and still with time changes and stuff like it. I think we did the math, it was like a 32-hour day or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Like it was not fun.
That's insane. But yet another example of how sometimes laws are stupid.
Yeah.
We've discussed stupid laws.
Yeah.
They
Huh.
usually are. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes like, yeah, you read an old law that you're like, it's illegal to whistle at midnight or something like that. And you're like, was it such a problem?
In Montana, it is required that if a high schooler brings their horse, that the principal feeds, waters, and cares for the horse.
And I remember seeing that
There
as
you
a
go.
senior prank. A few students brought horses, and the
Why
Oh,
wouldn't
there you
you?
go.
If
Why
that was a
wouldn't you?
rule,
Yeah.
if that was
and
a
the
rule,
and the
why wouldn't you?
principal fulfilled his
Yeah.
duties and took care of the horses.
Yeah.
There's some YouTuber from England that he looked up all these stupid laws that they had of like you can't carry like a certain kind of fish in front of fuck, I can't remember the name, where the Queen lives. Where the fuck is that?
Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace. Like you can't carry a certain kind of fish in front of Buckingham Palace between X time
Yeah.
and X time. and like, and it
Wow.
was a
You're
law
like, is
made
that
in
a
like
problem?
the
Was that a problem?
1600s or something, and he went
Yeah.
and was doing it, and police like just came up to him like, "What are you doing?" Like, because he's just being weird. And they're like,
Yeah,
"Why are
and
you
they're
being
like,
weird?" And he explained the law, and they're like, "Huh." Like they didn't do anything about it, but they were just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
"That's
it's-
weird." Like,
yeah, because I know like at our local library, they have a list of conduct rules. That if you break any of these conduct rules, you can be kicked out of the library.
Mhm.
And one of them is it's understandable till you get to a certain part.
I have really bad news. I have to go. I had my food delivered to the wrong address.
Oh, you're good.
You dumb bitch.
It got delivered to work.
Oh my god.
So there you are.
Fortunately, it's about 10 minutes, so I'll be back in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
I'll be right
Get
back.
out.
Get out.
Get out.
But yeah, this one rule is you cannot physically assault I can't remember, it's like physically assault a library employee. You cannot touch, hug, kiss, or tickle
I
a
mean,
library employee.
Evidently,
is-
is a problem.
this should be a rule all across the board.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
I went up to, because I'm friends with one of
Have you ever gone to a library and you're just like, damn,
I
that
need to tickle
librarian,
somebody.
yeah,
I need
that
to tickle her.
librarian looks like they enjoy a
They
good
need a
tickling
good
right
tickle.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah, they need a good tickle. But yeah, I'm friends with one of the, she's now a former librarian, but at the time she was a librarian. I went up to her and I'm like, honey, is this really an issue? I mean, how many people are coming up and tickling you? Seriously. And
She's like, oh my god, like every 3
I know,
hours.
she's like,
see-
oh my God, every hour. No,
This
and
is the
she's,
thing I would just do just
I would go up
because.
to her and go, tickle,
Oh,
tickle,
yeah.
tickle. But yeah, and she's like, no, they were just trying to think of how somebody could touch you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
would have
like,
been easier to just say, "Don't touch the librarian unless they consent to it." But
yeah,
they-
and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess that means I can go up to a librarian and be like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm aggravating the shit out of you,
yeah.
but I'm not touching you. But I'm like tickling. And she's like, yeah, they were just trying to think of any way, shape, or form that somebody could make physical contact.
That
with
brings
you.
up like what Nick said with like the Klein episode of like in Alabama you can't like carry a fucking ice cream cone in like your pocket or
pocket?
something. And it's like I like to think that like they're sitting around in like the state, like just coming up with laws. They're just sitting up there with the state and they're all like, hey Cletus, it would be hilarious if we just told people they couldn't carry ice cream cones in
Yeah.
their pocket.
Well, I'm
Would
more
anyone do it?
interested-
No, but it will stop that one weird
That
fucking
one
guy
weird
in
guy.
town.
I'm more
You know,
interested.
Joe, who's always walking around with ice cream just shoved everywhere.
I want to hear the stories that created some of these
Exactly.
laws. That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
Exactly, because it's like warning labels, laws, stuff like that. They had to do that because somebody did it.
My favorite is like the Menards or Home Depot buckets that say show the picture of the babies drowning
Like
inside
drowning
the
in it?
buckets, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
like who
what
does
the
not
fuck?
supervise their child enough to know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also what I want to see the baby that has the strength to haul themselves up into the bucket.
You would be surprised. I was a preschool teacher for like years.
Mhm.
And I know I was playing with this one baby, I was like, beep your nose. And then she beat my nose. And it was just so cute. Beep your nose, beep your nose, beep my nose.
And she decked
And
you in
then,
the face and broke your
and then,
nose.
I beeped her nose. And then she hauled off and just like,
Would
bam!
you hold on? I just looked up. Would you like to know why that was a law in Alabama?
Oh,
Yes.
hit us.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Why?
So I'm reading this straight from fucking whatever the fuck this website is.
Probably Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
Probably.
We've used it before. We'll use
So
it again.
throughout Alabama, it's illegal for a person to walk down the street with an ice cream cone in their back pocket. Back when most people got around on horseback, horse thieves would put ice cream in their pocket to lure horses away without being charged with stealing.
Now it makes sense.
Now
Okay.
it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
That's just too funny.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to catch the horse thief.
Who is the first person that drank shampoo so that we now have the warning label for external use only?
That has to be a kid because
It has to be. It
Well,
has to be.
'cause
There
a
has to be
lot of
some
the-
kid that smelled like strawberry shampoo.
yeah, like
Like,
right
And it was
when,
like, oh,
right when we started doing scented shampoos, and then you go and like when they're 3, it's not like you're sitting there staring at your kid while they shower, like realistically, like so it had to have just been something like that.
yeah, like some
To
5,
me,
6, 7 year
that
old kid
makes
going.
sense. That
Yeah.
one I can figure out.
Yeah, but another one, I can't even think of the comedian that I heard this off of, or I would give him proper credit, but I heard this from someone else. Was when you're pregnant, you hear all these things that you're not supposed to do when you go into active labor, including once the water breaks, don't have sex. I don't know. You guys probably are not familiar, but
I mean, that's a slippery slope there.
I just when because yeah,
Did you?
I mean, yeah, it's already lubricated and everything. But I experienced labor. My daughter was born through cesarean section, but I was in active labor.
I don't know how many women are horny giving
That was the
birth.
last thing on my mind.
But also, that rule was probably made when women were just objects, and
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
And
that-
the guy's like,
makes
how far are
sense.
those
Like this is like,
contractions? Woo!
yeah, 1700s.
What's this gonna feel like if
This makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Exactly.
Like,
But yeah, I'm just like, sometimes you just
That's
read
messed up.
something and you're just like, why in the hell do we have to have that rule? Why do we have that warning? Why did this have to become a law? And it's like, because some stupid jackass did it. And it's just, I don't know. Sometimes stupidity surprises me, and then other times it's like, I am not surprised at all knowing you. No.
So Georgia has a law that it is illegal that chicken must be eaten with the hands instead of a fork and knife. This law was intended to be a prank, but at one point the local police department jokingly created an ordinance to make it official, and it has stood to this day.
Does that include like
Okay then.
if you're mowing down on like a boneless, skinless chicken breast?
That's what I'm wondering. Because so in the
Yeah.
picture it shows fried chicken.
Yeah, because fried chicken, that's
Understandable.
that's hands. That's like your
I've just been scrolling through states with like weird
Stupid
things. And
laws.
I've been looking for the ones that explain it at least for like.
Mhm.
now I'm interested.
Oh, why-
Like, what about the people who don't have hands or something?
yeah,
Well,
like
but then they
exactly.
wouldn't have a knife and fork.
You
Oh,
smash
that's
your
true.
you
That's-
smash your face
Somebody-
in your plate over and
but-
over.
You toe it.
But no, you bring up it
Ugh.
because somebody would have to feed them. So the easiest way to do that is knife and fork it.
Yeah,
And
it's
holding out the.
discrimination. There you go.
Hmm. If that law is still on the books, then somebody in there needs to be like,
Now,
oh,
what
that's
if-
discrimination.
What if I'm like Captain Hook and have like interchangeable hand and it?
Well,
my
then you would
hand
have a hook that
happen-
has a fork.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, it was like my hand happens to be a fork. Sue me. Like, I don't
yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. I mean, I went to church with a guy that had a prosthetic arm that was the hook, and part of it expanded so he could grab stuff with it.
Mhm.
Expanded
Yeah.
so you could grab stuff with it. But I think the grease from the chicken then would make it like slip right through that kind of apparatus. So,
Or
but it was
maybe
only one
And
hand, so maybe he ate it with
you
the
just
other.
In
don't
I don't
eat
know.
Chicago-
fried chicken, maybe.
I never watched the guy eat chicken, so I can't tell
So-
you.
So Chicago, it is illegal to eat in a place that is on fire.
Oh, that's good to
There's
know.
no reasoning for it.
But what gets
I'm
me
trying
is
to think the reasoning.
I can
behind
see
it.
that
The
there's
Chicago
somebody-
fire of like whatever it was, like
Exactly.
in the 1800s, or wasn't I don't
Exactly.
remember.
Exactly.
Wow.
Somebody during the Chicago fire was sitting down to a meal in an expensive restaurant, and they're like, "I am not leaving until I eat every bite because I'm paying through the nose." for this."
Indiana's is
Oh dear Lord!
you in Beech Grove, Indiana, it is illegal to eat watermelon.
What?
The park staff came up with the ordinance after realizing that watermelon rinds often punch through garbage bags and cause messes.
But what?
Well, I've done stand up in Beach Grove. So the next time I do, I'm just gonna eat watermelon on the stage.
Yeah, just sit there with a big old slice of watermelon, being like, "So anyway,
That's fine. You just can't do it in the parks.
you can't do it in the park."
Well, I'll do my stand up in the park.
There you go. Just
There you
stand
go.
in the middle of the park eating one.
You
I'll
eat
just
that
grab, I'll
fucking.
just grab a karaoke and start doing it and start eating. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just gotta make
That's-
sure you throw the rind away into the garbage bag. 'cause
Okay, but
that's the
my
exact
question
reason.
is, they just say watermelon.
Mhm.
What if you go
Like
there
cantaloupe.
with
Yeah.
Well, but what if you go there because now you just cut the watermelon up into chunks? Is that still illegal? There is no
No.
rind.
Ooh. No, it says a slice of watermelon.
A
So
slice of what if you cut the rind off of, but it is still in
Now,
slice form? See,
What? Now, what if you just eat the whole watermelon? Like you
Rind and
don't
all?
cut it up.
Oh
For
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
eat
You
the
start
rind.
honking into
Yeah.
it like a fucking barbarian.
Like,
Yeah.
so, like what makes it a slice? Does making a slice mean that it has to be cut with a knife or something? Because then what if I just like
Honk
puncture
it,
a
like
hole
punch it, or
and-
just
Yeah, like
punch
we're-
it until it
yeah.
snaps.
punch it
yeah.
until it's chunks? Like, is that a
Yeah.
slice of watermelon? Or
Yeah,
is that
I'm
now
gonna
it's
I,
age
chunks?
well, I
myself,
feel
but-
like this is such a bullshit law. I think you get away with it with that. I feel like no
Yeah.
cop would be like, yeah, no, okay, good enough for me. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna
go
age
deal with the person
myself.
that got
Yeah, I'm
stabbed
gonna
down the
age
road.
myself. But you guys, Gallagher, the
You guys know the
comedian.
comedian Gallagher?
I thought you were talking about Shameless. Nope.
No, no. Okay, he's a comedian that used to end his show by bringing out the sledge-matic, which was a sledgehammer this big around, and he would just pound the shit out of stuff.
And
You
his
know,
big thing
apples,
was
eggs,
watermelons.
and one of his big things was watermelon. And if you sat in the front row, you had to have like ponchos. I sat in the front row of one of his shows. Yeah, and we had plastic sheeting the whole nine. But yeah, his last thing was a big, huge watermelon.
Yeah.
And he'd sledge-o-matic it and watermelon. So if he did that in Beech Grove, and people then gathered up the chunks of watermelon with the rind, and then went to the park after the show to eat and talk about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
An
I feel
illegal
like this
show.
is something no one enforces. Like,
It's I'm sure. It's one of those gray areas. We've
Yeah.
discussed gray
Yeah,
areas. of
Gallagher
laws.
was huge in the 70s and the 80s. Just
Yeah.
to give you
Just
yeah.
Yeah.
it's- People smash shit and that was entertainment.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I mean, he did a whole show beforehand.
Well, yeah.
That was how he ended it, was with the
Yeah.
sledge-o-matic. But yeah, that was his shtick. So
All right.
can we talk about how shitty fucking Nick is though?
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Just
fuck
leave
that
us. Just abandon us.
Right.
Every episode
Seriously.
he leaves at least once, and this time he leaves because he ordered his fucking food to the right. How
To
do you
wrong
not
address.
look? How do you not look at that? Like,
Right?
what the-
Can
I
we
don't
have can we have a Nick drinking game every time you see his ass crack, you do a shot?
oh god,
We'd
we
be
can.
drunk. We'd be drunk.
I know. I know. I'm telling you, if you ever have us on again, man, I'm here for it. It's like, oh, Nick, standing up,
up
you stand
there.
up, you standing up, and
I'll even start doing shots for that. I'll
Oh.
come in for it. There
I
you
yeah,
love
there
it.
you go.
All right. Well, thanks so
We'll
much for
get there.
coming on the podcast. Do you want to plug yourselves now?
Oh yeah. So
Sure.
yeah, Drunken Housewife Reviews. I do like dropping the review part.
I like
Um,
drunken reviews.
Drunken Reviews, just Drunken Housewife. Just listen to Sarah rant.
Sure.
Yeah, you can find us on I almost said YouTube
With the Yoo-hoo.
with a Yoo-hoo. He'll drink Yoo-hoo
I'll
on
drink
YouTube.
Yoo-hoos while we're watching YouTube.
Spotify, Anchor. We have a Facebook page.
Google. I think we're on Google now.
We're getting ready to do a TikTok about this, so we're on
Yeah, we're
TikTok.
doing some TikTok.
I am not
Ooh.
doing the Lizzo challenge on TikTok, just to let y'all know.
Hold on, what's
not
your
doing-
TikTok? I want to add
Not
this.
doing the Lizzo dance challenge on TikTok. This
We'll
body
figure it
doesn't
out,
move like
Jeff.
that.
That's
yeah.
fine. I'll get there.
So, but yeah,
The
you
Drunken
can-
Housewife Reviews is on
yeah,
TikTok.
Drunken Housewife Reviews, yeah.
So
So yeah, you can catch us on any of those, and you can catch you now on one of our shows. So
yeah, and I'll even
That
plug
will
Gail
definitely
doing
be
some
out by the
stand-up
time
and
this
stuff,
comes out.
so,
yeah, because he just has to edit it and
yeah.
These
Put in-
things. Well, we are. I mean, we're so far record. We have like 3 months worth of recordings done, so we're just pounding them out at this point.
I can
So
hear you
it's gonna
because
be a
we
bit.
yeah, because we've got your interview and another interview that he still has to edit.
Yep.
So you're just two shows.
I'm just 2 shows behind.
So
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I
almost done
think-
with the. I'll be done with you guys this week. I've got like 5 days off, so we'll get it out. this week.
Yeah,
I'll be cracking the whip.
I think right now we are in August, so
Well,
I hear
so
you.
many.
I hear you.
So
I
Not
hear
your
you.
drunken jurors one. Your drunken jurors
Oh,
one's
yeah.
coming out this Wednesday. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you because a friend of mine called me. He's like, we haven't gotten together in a while. Why don't you come spend a weekend, at my house? And I'm like, dude, I am booked to August with
Yeah.
But,
weekends.
yeah, well,
So
I'm getting married in November, and then we take December off, and January we have to be we are always a month pre-recorded, so we take
Sure.
basically 3 months have to be pre-recorded by the end of this year. So we're
which we'll gladly have done the normal podcast for already. This
There
year
you
it'll
go.
just be fucking slamming drunken jurors out the fucking wahoo.
that's fine.
well, if the person
You
doing
with
your
the-
wedding backs out at the last minute, I am ordained and I'll come do it.
I'm
She
interested.
is.
I am. So this is
I-
getting Morgan
yeah.
to agree to it.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
have
issue.
done- I've done all kinds of weddings. I did a Nightmare Before Christmas themed wedding. I just was the officiant at a combo where they did Celtic, like pagan rituals and Christian. And I was in with the Christian, traditional stuff.
Yeah.
That was so interesting. So yeah, I've done that. I have just like driven, somebody's contacted me and like, can you just come to Starbucks and sign our marriage license and make it official? And I'm like, sure, buy me a Starbucks. I'm your girl.
When
There you
we
go.
get to there, I'll tell her that I know someone, because like Morgan's agnostic and I'm atheist. So we're like, we're not
brother.
doing church. We're like,
Yeah.
just
I'm
like,
there for you.
figure it
I'm there
out.
for you. Yeah, I've done the whole.
It'll be
pagan
fun. You'll get to drink with us
Yeah.
in person because Nick and
There
I
you
are in the
go.
fucking wedding. So
Call me. I'm your girl. I will
Yeah.
do it. We'll get together. I've done, I know Dr. Seuss vows. Yeah, I'm your girl. Call me, man.
All right.
You
all right.
feed me, I'm your girl.
All right.
Well,
Thanks
if
so
you
much
guys-
for coming on the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
No problem, no problem. If you have like the movie thing, we're up for that too.
Absolutely.
Call us anytime.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, we're here for you.
I feel like this is going to become a way more
This is-
regular, normal
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I'm here for another drunken juror. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Call me. Call me.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening to this week's episode, and a special thank you to our special guest for coming on the show. If you liked the episode, come tell us your thoughts and join the conversation over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also share the episodes and give us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, it would be great if you helped us out by becoming a patron. On Patreon, you get unedited video versions of most of our episodes, and you get some extra bonus content, such as the Taskmaster live streams that are no longer available for free out there in the universe. You have to get them on our Patreon. Also, we have our Goes to the Movies podcast, where Jeff watches movies for the very first time because Jeff doesn't enjoy friendship and refuses to watch movies all the time. So yeah, that'd be great. Also, you can find us on themisfitfaction.com. We are a part of that network now, and we are enjoying every second of it. All right, that's it for this week. Join us again next time, wherever you hate to see it.